Welcome to part 3 of Iwo Jima on Let's Play Battlefield 1942. Just judging by the ticket lead that Axis now holds, I think Allies may be in a situation where the only way we can win is to capture all of the flags on the map and drive the Axis out completely. This is a pretty difficult thing to do. I think where we went wrong on this map and got behind on tickets is when we lost the airfield right at the beginning after we capture it. We also didn't manage to retake the airfield at any point after that. The airfield spawned so much equipment in terms of tanks and airplanes that if you really want to give your side an edge, then you've got to hold that point, and you can't be driven back to the landing beach at any point either. That really creates a kill zone that Axis can take advantage of to gain more tickets. I do think that we did a good job in terms of getting control points early on, though. At least we didn't bleed to death on tickets before we took a flag. Still, it is possible for us to take all the flags. You know, anything can happen in this game. There's so much action going on different fronts that if you get lucky on multiple fronts at the same time, then you can manage to do it. Someone moved our aircraft carrier to the northern side of the island. I have no idea what's going on. What in the world is this? I can't say I've seen that very often. Someone landed the airplane here on the island and then drove it off in the middle. Who knows? Well, in the Axis, I have to give them credit for the way they've been using these tanks. I mean, they've really made a presence with these tanks, just keeping them all times attacking all these different flags, really making good use of them against our infantry. I would also point out that we haven't seen anything to do with our battleship. The Allies get a battleship. It's very similar to the destroyer. It's got a couple landing craft that spawn on it. It's got a couple sets of cannon, but it's got more hit points. The cannon are about double in strength, and it also has anti-aircraft cannon, which are really weird, and you only see on the battleship. If they put the battleship into a position, they could aim those cannons and do a good artillery fire. Usually that's used against the airfield, or in some cases they use those battleship cannon against these two middle flags here and just kill all the infantry that spawned in. I decided to spawn in as an engineer just to show off that rifle there. I like that distinctive clanging noise that it makes when you run out of bullets and you reload it. That's a very realistic sound effect. Whether you want to use the engineer rifle, which is, by the way, it's different on the Pacific maps. The Pacific maps have the engineer rifles semi-automatic, whereas the other ones you have to reload in between each shot. It just depends on your play style. If you like to kind of hang back and attack from a distance, you should spawn in as an engineer. And if you like to rush the flag and go in there and capture flags and just stay in the heat of the action, then you should spawn in as a medic. This is a nice little position up here to attack that flag from. You can throw endless grenades from that ammo crate, or you can kind of move around from behind. You really don't want to have to attack this flag frontally because everyone who spawns in there sees you. It's a lot better to be able to flank it from that position up there. Fortunately, we do have control of one of the tanks. You can see the little blue tank icon on the map. That was from the mountain flag, which I guess we captured when I wasn't really paying attention to the overall map. We haven't seen the mountain this time around. If I don't manage to go back there and visit it, I'll have to revisit this map at some point and show off that mountain flag. it's very useful to just have at least one of the tanks, because otherwise it's 3 versus 0, which is a very different picture compared to 2 versus 1, especially since the tanks are often not in the same place. So if one team has one tank, the other team's got 2 tanks, then you stand a pretty decent chance at getting one tank versus the other, and then you can try to attack the other at some other point. Now we've managed to capture all of the flags incredibly. We did a good job in the center of the flag, and I guess there were some successful expeditions on the other 2 ends of the map at the airfield and the mountain. And this just goes to show, like I was saying earlier, anything can happen this game. You're never totally safe from getting all the flags lost to you unless you have an uncapturable base. Now the round is still going on. Why is it still going on? Because there are still at least some Japanese soldiers who are still alive. Even though we control all of the flags, you can see on the scoreboard, when you look at it, you can see who's still alive on the other team. The Japanese have, I think, 3 soldiers, and so the game continues, and it allows the remaining soldiers to at least try to retake one of the flags so they can spawn in again. However, you did notice that there was ticket bleed while Allies controlled all the flags, and so that brought the Japanese tickets down to within striking distance here. This doesn't necessarily mean we're going to win unless we kill all the remaining Japanese, because they still don't have this flag. It's neutral, so they can't spawn in. But we're in really, really good shape as compared to a few minutes ago. If we do manage to kill all of the Japanese, then the tickets on their side will just instantly go down to 0, and we automatically win. It's possible the Japanese could retake one of the flags. They only got 1 person left, but with the ticket bleed at this point, that really, really puts a time constraint on them. Well, there you go. That's Iwo Jima for you. And the Allies managed to win.